Okay, so being that we don't have an established chair, at this point, I'll go ahead and ask that we officially start today's Max Golf Course Advisory Committee meeting today, June 6th, 12 p.m. at the Laredo International Airport Conference Room. If we can, we'll start with the official roll call. Bernal Slide, Roberto Mancha, Rick Garza, here. Luis Pellegrin, here. Jerry Jacobs, Joe Garza, Tony Martinez, Arnaldo Lozano, Joaquin Rodriguez.
Present.
So we could not establish quorum, but we will continue with non-action items for the duration of this meeting. Well, for introduction's sake, well, welcome everyone and thank you for coming out. We appreciate you taking the time to serve. But just quickly around the room, probably most people know each other, but my name is Robert Eads. I'm serving as a co-interim city manager with the city of Laredo. Oversee obviously all departments, but more specifically a set that includes Max and others. And so my direct interest in this project is just that. The Max has always been directly overseen by the city manager's office, but we wanted to formally add a liaison, which Mr. Gomez will be assigned, and then we do have Mr. Lina who will ask to introduce himself. But so we just want to go around the room with everybody.
Luis Pellegrin. I like to play golf. Murph lives in front of me, and yes, I would serve on this thing. Absolutely. Thank you for it.
Gary Jacobs, represent the family that gives the land, water, and cash, and I'm very interested in maintaining the architectural integrity of the course, and part of my motivation for doing this was to try to send signals to the world that Laredo has a higher quality of life aspect and generally perceived from the outside. And by having a course that was voted several years in a row the best public play golf course in the state of Texas, I think even if you don't play golf or know much about golf, it's not difficult to see that that's an important amenity for the city for attracting industry. And the importance, some people have heard me say this, but years ago, when I was running the Laredo National Bank, we were very active in developing maquiladoras in Nuevo Laredo, and the sister kind of benefit of that for Laredo, Texas. And I knew Mr. Murillo, who was then chairman of Sony, and for Sony to make the commitment, which was a significant commitment, to build huge plants in Nuevo Laredo and 100,000 square feet over here. They wanted a golf course that was, they didn't consider Casablanca a golf course. They considered it a caliche pit. So then I went to the Troutman family who owned all the land where the plantation is now and said, look, if y'all will put the land up, the bank will finance 100%. They didn't put a penny in to build a golf course. So that's how the country club got started. And then for the bank's generosity, I insisted that they sell a full golf membership to the top 5 or the top 10 people in Sony and a bunch of other factories that came later. So I paid $10,000 for a membership. They paid $500 for a full membership. And to me, that was the key of getting thousands of jobs in the community. I I didn't play golf, but the $500 at the time for them to join an equivalent golf course in Japan was close to $1 million. So it was a big deal. So I view the max the same way. I think the city is offering incredible amenities. So when FedEx or Majestic or any of the tenants in Embarcadero or Killam Industrial Park are making a decision where they want to locate management, San Antonio or Laredo, or Monterey or Laredo. There's no public golf courses in Mexico. To join a golf course in Monterey is hundreds of thousands of dollars. Most Caterpillar maybe pays for one membership, maybe they don't. So the way I view this golf course, if we maintain it right, that we should really leverage it as an economic development tool for the city of Laredo. Because I learned serving on the Detroit Diesel's board for years, stipulating I don't play golf. I certainly understand the economics of golf. Roger Vinsky, who controlled it at the time, my friend, all their deals they made on a golf course. In other words, when he promoted GE to buy 80% of Penske truck leasing, he did it with Jack Welch on the golf course. That's where they made the deal. And, people laugh about that, but, you can't do that water skiing. So I think golf is incredibly important to the future development of the state of Laredo. And I think this course, and I applaud what the city did. It took courage for the city to do it. And I think it takes courage to keep it and to maintain it. And I think it's a really important quality of life industrial development amenity. So what I said to Bobby Jones, who designed it, the next Lee Trevino is in Laredo, right? And you know that. Are we doing everything we can to identify that young child? Maybe not, as a community, but that's really important. And we want to do an affordable housing subdivision across the road. And one of the amenities that I want to offer low-income people to move out there is get the city to deepen that culvert under the Mines Road, give this little community of low-income people 3 golf carts and access to a pro, and let 8-year-olds after school, and instead of hanging out in South Laredo and getting in trouble, get somebody to put them in a golf cart, take them under the Mines Road, not across the Mines Road, and give them a golf lesson. So I think it's important, and I thank you for putting this committee together.
No, thank the council. All that goes to them. Thank you.
Okay, I'm Mandel. I'm with your community development department. Right now, we're kind of like helping transition, getting the community together. And if you need anything, let me know. If you need anything, I'm here to help.
So the relation, so to establish that, J.J. Gomez will be the actual liaison, right? And I'm an ex officio member, going to be with the committee, non-voting. But he will be the liaison. All of our committees, the way that they're set up is that there's a liaison. Liaison really facilitates meetings. We build the agendas for you. We set up the venue for you. We set up the opportunity for that interaction, and we kind of step back and let the magic happen with you guys. Jada will be that key person. Jada's been on the operational side, mostly with our athletic teams, unit trade specifically, and hasn't had a lot of interaction with building the agendas to this point or managing a committee. Mr. Luna is very well versed in it, and so he's kind of helping get this off the ground and seeing that it's not a committee that's being revamped or redone. This is being created from the ground up, and that's where we thank Manuel for helping us get through that for the next at least couple meetings to get off the ground. But really, this committee is yours. We're here to facilitate the meeting for you all. We'll provide the necessary services, information, background. and access to obviously our city or our management team and your council members, right? There's a reason why we want you around the table, because you really even our access to our council members about the max, about golf, and because we also want to filter stuff to them as well. So not just from you, through us, but really even from the staff level side, also from us to you. And so you're going to be our champions, also going out there and saying, look, Councilmember Martinez, we really need to see if we can prioritize this a bit different, or there will be an approach for this type of item. Maybe you can see fit to look at it this way. So we're going to lean on your expertise and your knowledge base to kind of have that dual interaction. But that's how one letter comes. Thank you again on that for what we're doing.
Hello, everybody. My name is Joaquin Rodriguez. I'm an assistant district attorney here in Webb County, Texas, currently assigned to the special victims unit. Wanted to first start by saying thank you to Mr. Jacobs for being the person to bring this facility to Laredo. You have no idea how much it means to a kid who's been playing in Webb County since he was 10 years old. Ooh. So 32 now, so it's been a long time. Left Laredo, and then when I came back and I saw the beautiful golf course that was brought to the city of Laredo, it made moving here that much better. Not only was I going to be with my family, serve my community, but I was also going to enjoy a sport that I have a great passion for.
Right.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to serving in this capacity as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
JJ Gomez, Superintendent for Athletics for the City of Laredo. As Mr. Reed said, my office is at Unitrade. I now that we have started this committee, I'm glad that Robert appointed me to be the liaison, because I'm also a golfer. I was a baseball coach for 29 years. Did at United, and I was redirected 3 years ago now. And love to compete and little by little play golf, and my two boys enjoy playing out there with my two boys as well. So I'm ecstatic, to hopefully work with you all, and that's our pride and joy out there. And every time we go play out of town, there's a little hidden gem down there in Laredo that's called the Max, and I think we all have an interest in it. We all in different forms, right? In different forms and it's, to me, as a baseball coach, I always say that the most important equipment in any sport is the field. Not the helmet, not the gloves, it's the field. And right now we have turf. Right now we have turf at Unitrade, so my workload is out. But I was back then last year. I wanted to make sure all the blades were the right way and make sure it's really important to take care of it. Looking forward to it. Real quick, to my left over here is Ruthie Sierras. She is my assistant. She is the one to put everything together, because I'm covering different aspects, but she's always the one in my office. She's my right hand, left hand person that's been helping me put everything together. Just want to honor her. Tell me thank you, Ruthie, for
Can you also give out your cell?
Yes.
For that.
Let me give you my contact number, and feel free to contact me anytime. Area code 956 763 4512. Our email is down still, but once I get my email up, I'll send everybody an email. All right, from my email, so that you can have my contact email as well. But my office at Unitrade Stadium upstairs, up in the second level. So anytime you feel free to talk and come over, the door's open for everything. Okay? Thanks.
I'm Dennis Gutierrez. I'm the GM out there. Again, thank you. I did the same thing. I lived in Europe, did everything, came back, and I wasn't going to live in Laredo, but I became a member at the club. And then when the Max opened, I did my membership, and I went somewhere better. And then it just so happened that there was no general manager at the time. I offered my services to landscape because I have a passion for the golf course. So, and that's really why I took this job up. And I've always told Gary that I'm Max first, I work for landscapes, but I've always told him I'm all about the Maxes. I didn't play golf growing up, but I wish I would have, because I was trying to play basketball, and that doesn't work out when you're 5'6". But the kids, I see them every day. I brought every high school tournament back to the Max, and You see the kids able to go play and compete in regionals and all that now because there's a course with trees that we need to get to the course like, what is this? You know? So the kids are loving it, and you know we've seen the kids from the south side improve their scores and they're getting better and the enthusiasm's there. So I'm all about it. You know, grow the game and you know keep the max being what it is. It's the jewel of the south. I mean, it really is. So I'll pass it over to Rick.
Just set me up here. My name is Rick Gatsa. I take a little bit of pride in this and pat myself on the back a little bit about this committee. I fought the hell out of every city council person for 2 years to do it, put it together. And finally, was one last meeting when I caught Robert and Viad together, and I said, man, I've been asking you guys to do it because I really feel that, and you said the key word, Mr. Jacobs, the maintenance part about this course is one of the things that I think is going to be key to sustaining the course at that level and better for the rest of its duration. And it determines a lot. And I'll give you a quick, for instance, I played there day before yesterday, and it always happens to me because I usually like to take care of business and get everything done because I picked up golf in 1999 and I dropped it in 1999. Hated it. It was just way too much time. The first time that I played after that was opening day when you were there at the Max. Opening day when Carlos Bernal and everybody showed up over there. And we had the first time, and we were the first tee on number 4, and we teed off. And what got me pumped up about that day was that a mountain lion ran right in front of that creek in front of us. I said, if they have this kind of entertainment here, I'm in. But I was all in after that, and my game hasn't improved since then, but I can wait for that. But the fact of the matter is that I saw a golden opportunity for this city, as I have spent thousands of hours of volunteer time for this city, including here at this airport, which I'm very proud that it's gone this far because not because of me, but I was glad to serve. And now I serve as a board member for LASD. And yes, one of the first things that I thought about of that, because when I was growing up in the Heights, I remember Nixon had the top team in golf through the 60s and latter part of the 60s and 70s and early part of the 80s. And then it dwindled down to nothing. And Sierra did the same thing, and Maury did the same thing. So it's taken me all this time to set them up. Now they're at a point where they're going to be at a point of success over the next 20 years because we established that we need certain people in there, and we need to have recruitment and introducing golf to kids at the elementary level. So we've done that at every athletic team that we have there. Because it's tough. I mean, obviously the growth has been outside of the city. So, for instance, I was glad to have JJ come to the city because our little leagues at night also. And so the introduction of baseball, and we were no longer powerhouses at LISD, and then started dwindling down. But since he's been there, little league has come back up again. And guess what? The numbers have gone up over here. So. The Max turned out to be very special to me because I love the sport now. But when I met Dennis, and I saw a lot of things that he's going through out there, I didn't see the connection between the city and the golf course. There was no interaction. So I said, and 2 years ago when I started pushing this with Alex, I told him, you need to do this because if not, there's going to be a point where the only communication they're going to have is just going to be pointing fingers at each other. Right. And you're going to be getting large invoices for stuff that they're going to need when it could have been avoided. When we can set up maintenance program for all the parts, maintenance programs, I mean, I can already tell you that the building that's in there is going on 8 years, so it's gonna, a lot of the mechanical equipment in there is already fading, and so unless you don't put the right maintenance program on everything that you do at that golf course, things are gonna start getting worse, and then the city of Laredo is gonna have to get a big invoice for that instead of doing it in small increments.
It is a challenge.
Yeah. And so the third part about that I noticed, because I sold about And I don't know if Emerson ever got a hold of you. That's some friends of mine that work out at Emerson. Emerson had one of their annual meetings here, and they brought in a lot of the people from, some were from China, some were from here.
Did it go to the Mac?
And they saw them there at the Max. A friend of mine brought them over. I think they just went to go eat. But I said, hey, can you guys buy us a corporate sponsorship for these guys? Because I don't know if everybody's aware of this room, but you get for $3,000, you get 100 rounds. And it's fully tax deductible because you get to advertise on your ticket, and you get to give your ticket to your clients or wherever you want. So I confirmed that with my CPA, obviously. So immediately I called my buddy at Tito La Posada. I said, hey, I think what you need to do is buy one of these things, advertise on Texas Monthly, bring your buddies from Dallas, we'll take care of the golf.
Right.
He sold out like that.
Really?
And I told him, and I started telling the city, and I told Alex, and I told Albert, I told everybody, look, man, with the backing of the city, all we need, if your annual operating cost is 1.4 million, we sell 400 of these. You guys are 1.2 a year. You're only spending this much money, and it's just a recurring deal.
Right.
So it's like you were saying right now with FedEx and everybody else that comes in there. If we can do that, this golf course can make money instead of being viewed as a quality of life thing, and we're willing to lose money. It's like this thing can be a money maker if you really look at it. So further motivation came from that for me, and I intend to see that one through because I really think if we get to that level, I can already picture other capital improvements that we can do in there to make it just, better than what it is right now. It's great right now. But we can do a lot of things, and we were talking about that building the equivalent, like at the Masters and A-Main corner, and do a little bit, a little bit more things, a lot of little things to attract more people in there. But I'm very proud of it, and it's something personal to me because I love the course, and so I really want to make this thing work. So,
Thank you. So the way the agenda was going to work is that we were going to try to establish a chair, vice chair, those niceties.
Before you go on, by the way, Mr. Reed is also a golfer. So
Well, I don't know if you call it that. So I do go out there and I got a set of clubs. And so,
you're qualified.
Yeah, you qualify.
Card carrying member now.
Card carrying member. Yeah, so I do have now a love for the game as well. I've only started playing 2 years ago, in all honesty. So hacking away at it, right? But I'll tell you too. It's obviously the frustration of the game is, and the challenge of it, I should say, is what I like about it, because obviously my skill level is not there. But the uniqueness of the venue and what it provides as where it re-centers you. I go out there with a lot of staff or even helpers, but to tell you the truth, we're talking family stuff. We just kind of forget that we're working what we're doing because we have that opportunity to kind of go out there and provide that, and everybody I think around this room knows that, but yeah, so I have that as well. So when Strasser walked in and said that to Councilmember Vidal, and I was there with them, I said I'll take up that challenge. Let's go ahead and get this advisory committee going. We'll get the appointments going. We'll get it before the city council and get it approved. And really, that's why we're here. And I'll be honest with you. We weren't too sure how it would actually go, but we now have a waiting list of individuals who want to serve on this board, believe it or not. From what I understand. It is. We struggle to fill slots. So seeing that we can't, we'll skip through that. What I also wanted to do is provide some basic information and background. So everyone can also take that with you and please review, especially on the bylaws. And so, and I saw some things that we might, or we'll have to change. And I'll tell you what we took was we looked at a committee structure that works, and one that we actually was the airport board. And so from the airport board structure, the way that functions, we literally took that one and started swapping out, obviously things that work for the golf course. And so you're going to see, maybe I saw a couple references to the airport that we need to change. But take that home, take a look at it. But for the most part, that's just the general structure that we want to follow. One, we wanted to provide also the relationship that we have, if it's unknown, the relationship that we have with landscapes, because that's a third-party relationship that we hold with them too. Is to say, the city of Laredo contracts with landscapes so that they can manage. Obviously, the MAC is wholly owned by the city of Laredo, the citizens of Laredo, but that's the relationship that we have with them. And I only preface our conversations that way is as we have those conversations amongst ourselves, the direction of the conversation will have to be kind of voiced in the sense to say, this is a recommendation or an advice that we would like to provide, let's say, landscapes on a certain issue. But really the comments would come to, let's say this advisory committee to the city of Laredo, which would be me or JJ saying, look, we'd like for you guys to go ahead and then work with landscapes to do that. I mean, obviously we're on the same team. We realize this. We already had conversations. The better they manage the course, being that we still obviously subsidize to a great degree the operations out there. The less that we have to subsidize by getting more rounds in, by having greater food and beverage sales, souvenirs, everything else through there, the less the citizens have to subsidize. Outside of the general economic impact that it provides, the quality of life that it grants us, all of those other things. And so from at least today, we're hoping to go through that. If nothing else, please take this with you, look it over. What it'll look like from this point afterwards is that we would expect a monthly meeting set at the date that's most convenient to the majority of the members, and to say, and you all would have the conversation, say, look, Wednesdays are better for us at noon, lunch. We thought this location was a little bit more central than obviously the Max, being that you have to run out there at noon. But you may decide, look, it's Thursdays at 12 or something.
Will we be able to visit with the greenskeeper? Because of my comment has to do with the golf course itself, and he's a busy guy.
Right.
And so,
For sure.
I foresee us going out there and meeting with him out there.
Without a doubt, and what will happen as well too is that Dennis and his group have committed, when even these meetings are held in whatever space you want to hold them, and they could be 5, 6 o'clock meetings, however you guys want to set this up, but that you would have your staff available as well, so that you would have your team there to help answer or to explain certain things that are happening right now.
So, I think probably periodically a good idea to have available there. But to me, it's really important that Robert and JJ and the people who are running the city have easy access to this meeting. I'm afraid if we schedule all the meetings out there,
Just every once in a while.
This location is perfect. It's centralized.
Well, the greenskeeper is out there from no light until no light.
Yeah.
The guy's pretty busy.
Great guys. I mean, I failed to mention that because this board can also serve as oversight for anything that you have out there. So it'll be the communication. We want to bring our greenskeeper over here. Let's go do that, or on station we can.
And just to also, I need to mention as well, so formalities on the city side. So we have directive from our city council as well. And so we established this by resolution as well, that these advisory committees will be held at least once a month. If there's a reason why there shouldn't be, for people, majority of people will be out or whatever it may be, there's actually a letter from the liaison to management explaining, look, for the next month, because the majority of people will be out, we won't be holding a meeting. But then two, part of that resolution also is to be able to record it. So where we can go out there, I think, as discussed in certain instances, to have those visits. I think we will need a spot, and that's another reason why, we started with, well, maybe unit trade. Well, we can have a report at unit trade, but I think here we have already a restaurant, one, which always helps, right? A pretty good space, and then the recording facilities too, so, because we're required to bring back to city council, and we actually post these videos for our public to watch and see as well, so we're required to do that.
Yeah.
But I definitely agree with you, where we walk, I mean, we've been out there with Mr. Jacobs, literally walking some of the greens as well, pointing out certain things. So,
I just want to do one of the things for the record. I appreciate the thanks to me. All I really did was engineer this. The generous cash gift was my mother-in-law now deceased in Max's name. And Max bought this land in 1946 for $1 an acre. You can imagine.
it's changed a little.
Right, and he loved it out there, and so then he loved Laredo, and when he passed away, typically a family would say, well, we're going to make a contribution to the school district and name the school after somebody. And I went to the family and said, why don't we do something special out there that can capture the beauty of the river and all that. And that was accomplished with the gifts were really done by my wife, her 2 sisters, and their children.
That's fantastic. Well, thank them.
I just promoted them.
It wouldn't have happened without you.
Well, that's pretty good. There's a connection there, right?
Well, so because of this type of story, I don't get up there because I read the plaque. It's a wonderful plaque that they put up there for Springfield. Like I said, 2 days ago, when I was there, we usually get together, obviously, drink water, different beer afterwards, or not, but it never fails because I go in the afternoon that I ran into somebody from out of town, and this time it was 2 supervisors from Border Patrol, one from Kerrville and one from Dallas. And the guy from Dallas says, I'm lucky to come down here. This course is bringing me here. He goes, I come here once a month, and I come straight over here to do this. And so that's what pushed me from a long time ago. And Dennis and I have sat down and had some great conversations about, from the species of the grass and the maintenance of it all the way to the potential of this place. But it's always good to hear and always great to tell that story.
Right.
And I tell them, read the story on the plaque in there, and there's a lot more to it. But all this golf course right here, this is what's identifying those people. That's Laredo to them.
Right.
This isn't not right over here, but there.
Our goal should be to have 2 more.
Yeah, it's right.
That should be the goal.
Yeah.
In other words, the whole river, instead of walls, should be golf courses.
I agree.
We're in.
I have no doubt in my mind that if we have a game plan, and that's one of the reasons that I told everybody that was over there because I was telling everybody that plays golf over there, I'm pushing so we can form a committee, and then man, all you have to say it is once. But then everybody comes in with 100 complaints. I go, wait a minute, this isn't going to be a pitching committee, this is going to be a working committee. This is going to be a goal-oriented committee, and we're going to get this thing off the ground the way it's supposed to be.
But if you think 30 years out, think about Tucson, okay? And even Phoenix 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago. So those are 2 cities in the desert. So Laredo, in my opinion, has more development potential today than Tucson had 50 years ago when they built the first golf course. And I don't know how many they have in Tucson, but there's probably 50 golf courses there, something like that. We haven't scratched the surface on competing with the Valley or Florida or Arizona or New Mexico for retirees, for winter Texans, for all that stuff. We can leverage the max, and when it's maxed out, build another one and another one. I mean, the benefits to Laredo would be enormous because most of those people they all pay their ad valorem tax, and there's no burden on the system because their kids are all grown and somewhere else, so they're not, they're just paying taxes to educate other people's children. A great program. I've never quite gotten there, but There's no reason we can't do that.
I bus them. I bring them from the valley. You've seen them there when they get off the bus 54 at the time. And they're like, oh my God, this is so nice.
The Waco
First
doctors
question they
are
ask
still
me,
fun.
Yeah.
The Waco doctors are still fun.
and then the first question is there any people? That's like,
We're working on it. We're getting
one or two.
So for agenda purposes, just so I can just get some things off the list here. So a couple things. On the city side, I just want to mention too that staff representation outside of the liaison, I foresee that we're going to have individuals here too at all meetings for the most part. A representative from our Convention and Visitors Bureau will be attending these meetings. But I will, at different times, especially at the direction or advice of the committee, I think it's important also to have conversations about traffic because I know and planning, that's a major component of MAX, whether we like it or not. It really does play into how many rounds are played or how much activity is out there. And so I'd like at a certain point also to fold that in so everybody can start seeing or even start looking at other ways to get people through there, because that's the biggest challenge I hear for the most part. I don't even think it's so much distance. I think it's just the congestion that's out there. And so I think at a certain point we speak to that because it's the elephant in the room. I mean, that's one of the biggest challenges, because once you're there in that setting, it's like no other. I mean, hands down. But it's just challenges on the way.
So Robert,
Yes, sir.
I understand that, and I'm a huge advocate of more arteries and certainly a river road to kind of go around that congested area around Killam, which I think would be really easy to do. You could do it in cooperation with Border Patrol and probably get federal funding for it today, kind of rule of wall money. However, and I could be wrong, but I've been driving out there a lot for the last 2 months or 3 months. It seems to me that since the city widened the Mines Road in that area between Killam and CFI, that area there, that diminished the congestion time significantly. I've never, in peak traffic, coming back, it's never taken me more than 22 minutes from there to the overpass on I-35, where 3 years ago it took 45 minutes or an hour. I don't know what your experience is, but that's helped a lot.
That's it. At night, when we leave over there by 7:30, 8 o'clock, it takes, or 9:30. But it from the golf course, and I've timed it 23 minutes from that golf course to my house over here on the Plum. And because it just dies out. And on the way up, you're right. Remember that stoplight at Killam? And that was another thing that it really doesn't have. I think the widening has helped. The thing that we haven't gotten down is that the technology on those lights hasn't improved, and because has not improved, because on the weekends those lights still turn red and there's no traffic coming out of the industrial parks, and so there you're having to wait and you pack them on. And right now there's censored lights out there with cameras that can tell you unless there's 15 trucks coming out of Killam Industrial, it won't turn green for them.
And that's the technology that we have out there. The challenge is volumes. And I don't disagree with you. I think though too that there's been a recent synchronization project within the last year that's happening. But even that intersection of Killam, and that's kind of where I wanted to go with the transportation side to kind of bring out things that we work on. They're going to be widening the the Killam intersection, and I'm talking about on the Killam side, industrial park side, and so that those trucks that are stacked can be making those turns and alleviating a lot of that traffic. Viasillo is going to be happening, which is obviously north or west, whatever we call that.
That's going to get built.
That's going to get built.
And where is it coming out on the Mines Road?
It will dump where
On both sides?
no, it's north of that. It's going to be north of that, right?
Tiendas.
You're right, in Las Tiendas.
Oh, that's where it'll come out?
Yeah, and
So
those that
that's
are,
where the shower road will come out?
that's where the HR road,
That's
stuff
gonna be
that.
an interesting intersection.
It will be, but there too, I mean, and just the more immediate, where you're looking at even Loop 20 and I-35, that intersection, you know, that construction actually is, according to TxDOT, they're gonna be done, I shouldn't say this because it's not on the record, it's not official, right? But it's planned for the end of the year, but they're gonna be done by Thanksgiving. And so, and also too, so that'll provide a lot of relief for that major intersection.
And could you give us a copy of IACOs and HR?
Of course, the alignment.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, for sure,
See those.
for sure. We definitely will. And then, I'm sorry, so just get on the agenda portion, what we were foreseeing is that there's gonna be some things that are set items. And perhaps it's gonna be just a simple, general, you know, a general manager's report. And within there'll be things that the advisory committee can say prior, you know, ending one meeting to say, hey Dennis, can you put on for the next meeting under your report, you know, what you're doing on X, Y, Z? So that's always gonna be there, right? Provide financials, let's say, or capital improvement, or whatever it may be. So as a committee formulates that, we can always have those items going forward to expect, you know, whether it be financials or an update from Max. And that was hopefully where we're gonna start working with the group to say, what do you wanna see going forward so that we can get a stable reporting system so that you know what to expect month to month, and where they can start providing backup, because I've already been asked by them to say, how can we put some backup in there prior to the meetings so that you all can start looking at the information, so it's a fruitful meeting by the time you get here. You've read all that stuff and you've got your questions ready to go. So we're already going to start facilitating that for you guys. Also too, there's no action items on this, which is reporting the cards on the leases, the new leases. And so we just had a conversation just as recently as yesterday, even with our purchasing department. So we'll be moving forward on the leases for the new carts on the June 17th City Council meeting. We'll take it for their approval, and we are asking, and we'll be, I'm pretty certain, in the makeup for our council where they will grant us the ability to get those higher quality, better, higher level type vehicle, and bring those on board as soon as we can, knowing that we're going to probably have an influx of golfers coming. But so that's one thing that we know that's coming. And those are the things that we typically would like to come to the advisory committee, obviously with some time before and explaining, you know, moving forward. These are some of the things that we'd like for you to take a look at. You'll see the leasing options we have, the type of equipment, and say, you know, Dennis, you know, city, could it be this differently, or can you add this sort of thing, and provide that advice going forward. For this, we're really under the gun to get this lease executed, and I think for the most part, most people around this table would agree that that's probably a decent move, a correct move, because we do need to replace them, one, and then the higher quality unit is what we're seeking too, because we are trying to get to that next level, of course. Right,
you were explaining to me how that they're working, about how you're going to be able to see who's out there.
I'll be able to control where
Well,
they go.
one of the biggest things that I was going to suggest, obviously, and not this meeting, probably the next one, is, and we maybe had talked about it a couple years ago, the safety aspect of the MAX, that the closest EMS unit is at the fire training facility, which is 2 miles away. And that's not good. That we need to have either, I don't know if everybody's trained to use a defibrillator out there. I don't know if they're trained to have, do we have a cart? Because you can't get an EMS unit to number 4 because you have to go down to the creek. So I said those type of things we need to start looking at, because yesterday the guy had a heart attack at the country club.
Really?
Yeah.
Sunday. Passed away.
Yeah. So the time factor, the time in between it, the time that it happens, and these guys get noticed.
Right.
Is crucial, obviously. And those seconds are precious, so we need to figure out a way that knowing, I mean, fully aware that it's 107, 111 degrees out here, and people are still gonna be out there, we can't just turn a blind eye and not at least have something maybe at the bathroom on number 3 or number 4, and have some sort of station in there that just in case an emergency happens, that somebody can do something.
That's
I
how
was
they
thinking-
trained, right?
Huh?
Right,
Yeah.
well, we get
Right.
that, yeah, we've done the defibrillator training and the CPR training. I think we're up for every 2 years.
The carts that you have out there, there might be one like they have at football stadiums, with a flatbed in the back in case we need to get Russian email.
That's an excellent idea.
Yeah, so because, I mean, they're so far away that by the time we get, and I was asking Bernal, I think we're gonna have to put something in there, because if it happens to me, man, I can't wait for these guys. And then you throw me over the fence to your property and let them pick me up over there. And so it's that kind of thinking that I think is gonna set us apart from everybody else. That, you know, it's a well thought out golf course that has everything that you're thinking of, and that peace of mind is taken care of at least. So, I mean, it's just those type of things that we need to be, you know, looking for.
Good point. Good point.
So, and I have a couple, so you want me to go down the list? I have like 10 things, down improvement plans that we could use, and it's only for the betterment.
Yeah, no, and I think that those are valid points. I mean, obviously your users, your taxpayers, and you serve in other capacities too. So you hear it also in your other capacities, right? At your work, and then on the other boards that you serve on too,
Yeah.
right? So you see it from a lot of different
Well,
angles.
yeah, I mean, the experience is one of the biggest things that I learned here at the airport is that I was surrounded. Beto Trevino was, I mean, so well versed in the business, the day-to-day business of airports, and how to do it. Learned a lot from that guy doing this, and then I'm looking at all those pictures that we took.
Oh, yeah.
That all those runways are now brand new. This was 2003.
So what's all the chisme about Aeromexico's planes landing here doing touch and goes?
Well, in fact, the funny thing you mentioned that. So I would, you know, Alejandro just popped his head in here. They're at FIS. We just recently hired on Monday. He started our first day, a new airport director. So I'll probably have him just come in here to say hi, just introduce himself, Jeff Miller. But on Itemized side, we can see what exactly their business is looking like. I know what we've been pushing a lot from our side is that FIS, that inspection station where we have, you know, this unique thing where we've got actual armed Mexican officials on the U.S. side inspecting with us. But we just got to get better at promoting that.
There's been an effort to try to get a nonstop flight to Mexico City forever.
Right.
That was it. That was one of the reasons that we proposed that thing, so that you can clear customs here, Mexican customs, and go. You don't have to go front, but we never got.
But are there
the two governments
and a Mexican airline?
Yes, there is. Yeah, they're ongoing with two airlines at this point. Obviously, there's like we've done in the past, where you know the request is subsidy based, and we just have to build up the need, and maybe the prior times that it's been attempted, the business climate was different. I mean, now I think it's almost a no-brainer.
I think you could pre-sell seats.
Yes.
If it was a nonstop.
And if it was priced right.
To Mexico City.
Right. They did the last. I think the city gave a lot.
Yeah.
A lot more than they needed.
And it's kind of
It's
the same kind of math is still there, and that's why we haven't really.
I just think it didn't give them any incentive to do better. You know, over there in Mexico, saying, "Should we get to go my break-even point?" And so I think that's the way we should do it. I think we need a better plan. So I mean, we haven't moved. That was then. I remember time.
And so they are continuing to work on that. But I'll tell you, I mean, just a quick thing, and y'all probably know this, but you know, we have companies here that will charter an entire plane for a box that big that has one part for a machine that's stopping an entire plant.
Yeah.
And so they'll spend thousands and thousands for one box on an entire airplane to get that going.
So when Joe Seals years ago used to represent General Motors, and I asked him one time about that, you know, why he had people at the airport at 3 o'clock in the morning, and he told me that story for a box. He says, because if I don't send that box, it costs GM $100,000 an hour.
Yeah.
So $10,000 charter? Yeah,
So
you're really good.
it's just in time products like that that are just, I mean, sometimes the plants up here don't have it, and yeah, I can see it, and that's why UPS and FedEx and all those guys are doing fantastic here, because they set up that little chain of events.
And we just recently had Amazon here, so
Yeah.
we're really going, oh yes sir. Yeah, oh yeah. Because of that, and so we're trying again.
Do you have it?
Fishing.
What, you already have the designation?
Oh yes, yes sir. Yeah, so we're
Where
able.
Mexican Customs hadn't committed to bringing their people here, and our customs hadn't, I mean, what, it's been 8 years?
Yeah,
8
I
years
want to
since
say.
we tried to put it together, and it's just.
And so we have our inspection facility, so as to not stop, we've got Mexican Customs walking out with sidearms, with our customs walking with sidearms, side by side here. Today. And they'll do the co-inspection together, and they seal it, lock it, and send it. So there's few touches of the product.
So when that plane lands in Laredo or somewhere,
It's already been cleared,
domestic or-
it's already done, right. And that's a benefit in that respect. So we're trying to sell that more and more, because that's a big opportunity in here.
Or other border towns, do they do the same thing?
No, sir, no. They don't have FIS.
So,
We're the only
nothing in the
ones.
valley, nothing in
No,
the
sir. No, sir.
We're proud of that thing.
Yeah,
It's just-
yeah, that's a huge difference that we have.
That's why I told you, Beto knew the ins and outs of those things, and brought up that idea.
So while we're digressing,
Yeah.
since Forbes did that article, what was it, April 21st, about Laredo for the first time passing Los Angeles as the largest port in the United States. And even though there might be a little distortion because of Chinese activity, it seems to me we ought to have a huge, noisy celebration in Laredo about that. That's a big deal. So again,
Can we hold it at the night?
you know, when
We need a bigger venue.
but I- you know, when Laredo National Bank was 100 years old, we
Right.
had some street party downtown. You know, we closed the streets, and then we had some other milestone. We go to the city, and we brought bands.
Right.
And everybody in Laredo came and made all kinds of noise. We should celebrate as a community that this is the largest port in the United States, and we shouldn't wait too long to do it. You ought to go to the city council and say, we really should do this. Who could be against that? And then you get ABC and CBS and everybody, instead of talking about Guatemaltecos waiting in Nuevo Laredo or some guy from Bangladesh sitting in the park over there,
Right.
celebrate what we do better than anybody else. We should do that.
Yeah, so we brought that up in a couple of different conversations, and I know where I've seen, and it hasn't been formal, but informally there was a hesitation, and only because it was that 1 month, and then it started to be chipped away to say, well, it's because, you know, Chinese tariffs. So then by the time you know it, we whittled away the reason for it. So, before we're able to
So
even
then we'll be
promote
number
ourselves.
2. It's okay. You know, we were number 1 for a while.
Right.
It's like the NFL or the NBA.
Yeah.
You win something, you lose something. Well, we won that.
I'll give you one additional. So as when that happened, and of course I've been serving for, you know, as a co-interim city manager since February 2nd, and so I actually made my own noise. I said, man, it only took me 110 days to take us to number 1. I said, how hard was that? I mean, geez, yeah, that's what they said. They said, well, you trumped the Chinese maybe, but I said, great.
Well, nothing against Bangladeshis or anything.
Well, that's true.
Director of Public Works in Bangladesh, but it just seems to me we're missing a huge opportunity to get a lot of press, a lot of free
Yes,
press
sir.
by failing to celebrate.
This town can really use it right now. It'll
Huge
divert
deal.
from the rest of
All the negative stuff.
I mean, who cares how we got there?
Yes.
Right? We're the largest
Oh, yeah.
port in the United States.
And we expect to stay there too, right? And so what we told the airport director is, before we hired him too, we said, look, and in all honesty, I said, look, we're the number one in the port. I said, land port. I said, but the geography doesn't change just because you're, up in the air. I said, you're still, as a crow flies, from point A to point B, the straightest line goes through us. So I said, Jeff, the simple challenge too is that we need to become the number one airport, just like we're the number one land port. I said, because we use the same math, same reasoning, we should, if nothing else, be competitive, much more competitive. And so that stayed with him. He's only been on board with us since Monday, but I said, we need to think of ourselves that way. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think this is what it boils down to. What I think. This is just me, no one else. I think we've always been afraid or shy to ask the pretty girl to dance. The city. And so we don't pat ourselves on the back when we should. We don't shine our accolades as much as we should.
I mean, I think you could get, my guess is you get the customs brokers, logistics, and transportation people to underwrite a party, probably. A celebration, some kind of celebration at the parties or something. Where do you do it? I don't know, maybe downtown, closing streets, maybe
Right.
someplace else. But,
At the max.
invite the Port of Corpus Christi, invite the Port of Houston.
Right.
Don't invite anybody else from the board.
And believe me, since I remember Betty and I served on we did that Laredo thing back in the day, and it was only because you always have to understand that whatever you don't do is just like in athletics, like I tell every kid. The day you don't practice, somebody else is practicing.
Oh, yeah.
You have to take your lunch. And San Antonio, let me tell you, is constantly practicing against the world. So whenever we fall asleep, San Antonio's there looking at us. And they're still wanting, because I remember Betty said, they're wanting to take the gateway city away from us.
Oh, yeah, they want to move the border to San Antonio.
Yeah.
Betty and I were opposed to it, trying to go around.
Yeah, and I remember that. It dawned on me, man, these people, obviously they're bigger, they have the muscle to get it done, but we got to put our dukes up at every moment that we have, and this is part of it.
Yeah.
So that we can show everybody, hey, we're on top of it.
To me, it's a huge deal, and the fact that Forbes wrote about it is great, but then people forget about it. And most people here don't even understand it.
Right.
And what it's the single biggest job creator in the history of Laredo is logistics.
Right.
It is our history.
Right.
So ought to do some kind of pat ourselves on the back.
Well, don't be
Because the other
surprised.
thing at LSD now, we have an early college specifically for that we're getting kids certified that in the logistics
For
aspect
the
of
trade industry.
Yeah, because they're a raised employer.
Right.
People think it was a school district or the city or anything.
Feds
They're
or
10 to
whatever.
1.
Right.
10 to 1 over here. And so we started that deal so that these kids can get certified.
On the LISD?
Yeah, we have an early college now.
What's 10 to 1?
10 to 1 jobs in import-export as compared
And all that
to
trade.
teaching and all of that. We have 100,000 jobs over here. So I said, that's the biggest employer in the city. Why are we not focused on not getting those? We have thousands of kids coming in from Laredo taking those jobs.
Right.
And people think that the forklift operators are making $8 an hour. No, they're not.
No.
They have to be certified through GM and Ford and all those. They're making $16, $17 an hour. So we need to get them involved.
Great job.
Yeah. We need to get them, just like we did with the oil and gas industry. So we get them certified so that.
So you're doing that now?
Yeah.
At what campus?
And right now Nixon is doing that. It's called the BIPS, Business and Information something. And then we have the engineering and oil and gas at Sierra Leone, and we have the medical field over here in Martin. So these kids are coming out certified now, and they're ready to fill the labor force.
Right.
And those, because we're low at every level.
Right.
So, and we're getting those jobs taken away by people from out of town.
they're coming in too.
So Robert, you, Orlando Stanislavs, Gabby Stanislavs, number one in Laredo. You'd be right there with them.
No,
Because we celebrate them still. They were number ones in the world.
Oh, for sure.
25 years ago, and we still
That
to
is-
the day
oh,
talk
sure.
about it. So we should celebrate it like that.
Yeah.
You're on the cover.
Yeah. No.
It took him 110 days.
110 days to get number one?
To make him the biggest.
I don't know what the big deal was. Let's just see if we can stay there too. Don't be surprised if there's some noise that comes out, because I'm going to see if I can twist those arms and say, look, let's be serious about this, and we really should take that apart, because I do agree with you. I think it is
It's marketing.
bigger than what we, then we put a value on it. I think it's bigger.
So go back to to the course, Robert, so then, I think, yeah, if we take this over here, then we can call JJ and set up whatever kind of agenda items we want
Yes, sir.
for next time.
Yes,
So we
and
can have discussion on it.
could there be, so we can already establish, try to establish the next meeting? I know we don't have a majority in the room, but, at least seeing that you're here, was there,
The Thursday noon's okay with you?
Yeah, that's a good.
Thursday's fine as long as I'm out by 1:40.
Yeah.
okay,
1:40, so that'd be an hour and 40 minutes.
So anytime, I guess after, y'all like the beginning of the month or the latter part of the month?
So, let's see, a month from now on Thursday is July 4th.
Yeah.
Be the following. It's always going to be.
Yes.
We can do it.
11th. So we have 11th, 18th, and 25th.
What do I have? So we'll make it on the 18th then?
I won't be here, let's see, on the 18th of July. Maybe I will, let me see. Yeah, we'll be.
were you think you could? Okay. So possibly the 18th, which would be the third Thursday of that month. Just for, maybe you can start working with that same idea to say that, because that's how we have with the other committees, to say, the third Thursday at noon of every month.
Yeah.
Well, you guys can figure that out at the next one, but at least for the, and I'll say that for how you guys want to do it, but.
Because it can fluctuate. We used to have it here every third Thursday of the month. And I think everybody was, and we had a committee, so it was filled, so. But I guess we can try it like this now, and then when everybody starts feeling comfortable around it.
But 18th. So we can circle around the 18th, we start floating the dates, and we can pull the other committee members.
Yeah.
And to establish that.
We'll just confirm the location.
And we'll confirm the location right now.
Hopefully we'll have it.
Do we leave these books here or we take them?
No, those are yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can take those. You can take those, so that way you can kind of review that. And that doesn't stop any sort of operational or contact with anyone as we've been working before. I think this is just an added benefit towards our communication with either with Dennis, with JJ, however it is. So please continue. Interact. This doesn't replace anything. Actually, this is just an addition to what we've been doing. And so that way, if there's things that we need to take care of, let us know. Let JJ know. Let me know. Let Dennis know. Right? Because there's some immediate things that we probably need to still get to between now and even the 18th.
Yeah.
And so let's keep that communication line open. Is there anything pressing, Dennis, that you may want to tell us that you see, or things that you're working on right now?
The most pressing issue was the golf carts, not only because, we need direly of them, but because their factory shuts down from June 30th to July 19th to set up their factory for new models. So then the prices go up. So I think I talked to him yesterday, he's like, 17th, 18th is fine next week.
That'll work.
Still get you in. So,
When would you receive the units?
he said I would get them the latter part of June.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. So that'd be perfect, because as you know, the country club 9 holes closed down, so we're starting to see influx of, especially this weekend, we had some extra play that we're not used to, some country club members.
It's actually a very good opportunity because for the people that aren't satisfied with their memberships and they love the max and how it plays, they might just say,
Yeah.
no mas, I'm done.
Well, I'm telling you, those
Well, they
corporate plans, are, I'm telling you, the work. And if we get the whole city back in, we sell
Play every other
500, a year, maybe 200, drop your operating cost in half. And we'll take that, and we can use that money for something else.
For sure.
One little administrative thing, and it's not been rolling with for a while. When the family gave the city 500 acre feet of Class A riparian water rights for 30 years, I was very worried that what has happened would happen. So I wrote in the development agreement that you couldn't do anything to jeopardize those water rights. And because, they were all litigated and very hard to get. So the city is supposed to provide me monthly with a pumping report and the receipts and the tickets that we get from the water master and Eagle Pass. They've never done it.
Okay.
And it's not because they don't want to do it, it's because the administrative bureaucracy of the water department and the parks and wildlife and all that, golf and all that, nobody's in charge. So somebody needs to be sure that I get the historic reports for the last 6 years. You all have them. The city has them. And why do I care? Because you could be pumping from the wrong account. And if you're pumping from the wrong account, I could lose the water rights, which are worth millions of dollars. The most important gift we gave you was not the dirt, it was free water
Sure.
for 30 years. So it's really important that I know and can tell the family, they're going to revert back to us the way we gave them to them, and I have no idea.
Fair enough. I'll go back. I just had a conversation with Rizal Mita last night on quite a few things. I'll have another conversation with him this afternoon, and then we'll either I or he will.
It's not hard because they can't get the water without filling out the reports, and then they get an accounting every month from TCQ and all that. They just have them in a file somewhere.
Right.
They won't give them to the tenants. They won't give them to me. They won't give. I need them.
Okay.
And I'm entitled to them under the.
No, for sure. And those are the kinds of things that I'd like to hear for sure. Okay.
So you can get it, but that's not the official one.
Kind of always.
Yeah, generally, yes. I mean, and because we actually hold a lot of rights even as far as the valley.
Yeah, well, 10,000 acre feet of Class A water rights, so
You'd have to do it manually.
can be used at a very, very good price.
Oh, really?
You get 10,000 Class A. Oh, yeah. Trust.
Okay. Well, and so you with Rhea, he manages that.
Yeah, over here. Central. And Compass has it right now.
Yeah, we had that in trust, and then Compass, and we did, they run it out of Beaumont or somewhere.
No, Houston.
But whether it's 1,000 or 10,000 feet, somebody should pay attention to that water.
Yeah. Well, if you guys are interested, I can get you set up.
I'll talk to Rhea to see our process. We just the last recent purchase was again in the valley.
They don't want to sell. They want to just
Lease.
yeah.
I got you. I'll float that by him. Do we have everyone's contact information? I suppose so, right? So we can reach out to you. We'll be making sure that you have. Let me give you my cell phone in case you don't have it. Also, it's 236-9092.
9092.
Yes, sir. So I've always got it. I'm always available.
Well, congratulations to the city council for doing this and to the administration for doing this. This has been a really great meeting.
No, we appreciate you coming out here and expect, us to get rolling. And we do want, fruit from this labor to come out because, sharing breaking bread with you is great, but breaking bread and getting actual work
So I would
done
just say
is
one thing
better.
that, I used to watch that course more closely than I have in the past year. But I'm probably, not qualified to say this, but I'm very impressed with Tom Horst, that greenskeeper that he has now. The first guy that grew the course in, I knew very well. Second guy I knew pretty well. I think this guy is practical and focused, and it seems to me he's doing more with less money than the previous two guys. Just
The key to keeping the guy is making him happy in Laredo. Because greenskeepers are.
Is he married? Does he have a
like
girlfriend?
that.
That's how they stay here for a
How they stay here. It's not the water.
Yeah, it's not the water.
Yeah, so right now and this is kind of when I brought him over from the valley because he was running the one at Laguna.
Yeah.
I was like, how old are your kids? So he's got one that's going to be a junior this coming year. She's got a boyfriend. So, that's going to keep him here longer.
The wife's real important.
Yeah.
She's
So-
got to be happy in Laredo.
When he first started, he goes, I can give you 2 years, guys. And now we're getting to the second year, but he's like, the little girl, they call her Augie. Augie's got a boyfriend now. And, I'm like, he's sitting here alone. I was like, hey, go for it.
Has he been in a house or he bought a house?
He lives in La Bota, and I think he's leasing a house.
We'll get a mortgage put down here.
The recovery of that golf course now that it's taking more of a beating is, man, if you look at it before he was here, now that he's here, man, you play 1 week and all the damage that was done that week, the next week it's the grass already grew over it, everything's covered up.
I used to, Jesse and I used to walk the course every Saturday, and there were tees strewn everywhere, and you could see all the damage on the tee boxes and everything. And since he's been there, to your point, everything's clean. There's no trash.
Yeah.
The divots are covered up. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, we still have as far as that, and I talked to all the coaches from USD and LSD. One of the coaches, the United South coach, he makes his kids as part of their workout. Since they can't walk around with a sand or in a cart. They walk around and before the practice ends, they go to every tee box and sand it down.
Well, that's what I was bringing up to Dennis earlier. I don't know, I guess you were in the room, but I think it'd be a really good idea to have a kid follow the tournament kids around and fill in their divots because they're trying to get through the golf course and they can carry a bunch of sand. They're raking the sand traps, but have somebody provided by the school.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't cost the course anything.
If I can make a suggestion, every year my boys take me out for a Father's Day golf trip, and we were looking at some of the courses that we go around the San Antonio area, and I was noticing I was looking at the rules and all that stuff that between the months of June and August for summer, it's all 90 degrees. Cart. All 90 degrees cart. Because of the drought and the heat and all that. I don't know why, but I would imagine, to upkeep it's like a baseball field, the more you traffic. No, you can't, but you go 90 degrees.
Rule.
So I'm gonna contact
Instead of driving on the fairway straight, that's a great discipline y'all should have out there. I see people all the time driving. They shouldn't be
Those for the
driving.
new carts, they're going to handle it. I don't have to get mad at anybody. I just say, you can't drive here, and the map.
That's geofence.
Yeah. Why do you think I want those carts?
They have them everywhere. Big clubs, they have.
Because this golf course was built unlike any other golf course. If you look at every golf course, you play 9 holes, and you end up on the first hole to the 9th one, you end up at the clubhouse, and then the back 9, that's why they call it the back 9, you end up at the clubhouse when you finish. Over here you don't. So I said it's got to be a management nightmare because people right now, and I've seen them, they get there, they don't pay, they get in their cart, they leave. And so he doesn't have the eyes and ears to be down there.
Right. So the carts are going to do that?
Yeah, I'll be able to management. So I can say, okay, I have 55 carts on the line. Somebody walks up, your cart number 27, which could always be done, but they stole the key. They would steal
Yeah.
the keys and they would come in. But now I press the button. Okay, now you're on. Now the key will work. The key.
You can control where they go.
Yeah, I can geofence the public and
Right.
say, you can't. He's like, go get him right now.
There's a GPS in each one of the models, and so what you'll do is you'll set up a digital fence and say you cannot go past this, so the
And
unit.
if they try to, it
Turns
won't
off.
It'll
Turns
shut
off.
off.
And
There's an
You can
automatic
only
shut off.
reverse.
Yeah.
No, you can't even do that. You gotta push. If
Well,
they don't wanna do that.
I could do two things. If they've done it 2 or 3 times in a row, I could set it to where they're gonna have to call me and I'm gonna give them a code to turn it back on because they keep breaking the law or the rules. So it's awesome.
It's a big management tool right there.
It's gonna save money. Those little ropes that you see everywhere and all that kind of take away from the view. Well, we don't need them anymore because cars not gonna go there. They won't.
And all of those mud piles that continue to get bad because
Yeah.
people keep driving where they're not supposed to.
Yeah.
It'll take time to dry out. Grass will grow over. It'll look pretty again.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes, sir.
Good.
Well, thank you very
Well,
much.
thank you all again. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Yeah, real quick.